Good morning, everyone. What a shining cold day to start together. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Providence, where we love beyond belief. Welcome to this special time together. May we make the very most of it, starting right now together. And now we have our time of greeting. Let's make sure we get up as we are able, talk to someone who's near us, or some of us all the way across the meeting house, as we make sure everyone knows how glad we are to be together and present to each other, always. And now before we return to our seats, can we just turn around and wave to everybody who's watching? Hi, everybody, everywhere you're watching. I was informed yesterday we have a contingent that watches us from Rose Court at Linden Ponds in Hingham, Massachusetts that I never knew about. So special greetings to everyone at Rose Court if you're tuning in today. And now we have our chalice lighting, which is of course in the order of service. If we can join in the words together. This light burns also in our hearts, and it lights the way towards harmony, justice, and hope for all. And our invocation is one of my favorites. It's by Robert French Levens, who was an early 20th century Unitarian minister. Holy and beautiful the custom which brings us together in the presence of the Most High to face our ideals, to remember our loved ones in their absence, to give thanks, to make confession, to offer forgiveness, to be enlightened, and to be strengthened. Through this quiet hour breathes the worship of ages, the cathedral music of history. 3 unseen guests attend: faith, hope, and love. Let all our hearts prepare them room. We have our covenant, which is printed in the order of service. Everyone is always welcome to speak these words, including visitors, and as always, no one is required. We, the members of the First Unitarian Church of Providence, with respect for the worth and dignity of each person, with wonder at the light we know by many names, and with gratitude for our deep connection to each other and to the larger web of existence, covenant to walk together in our search for truth, seeking the paths of wisdom, compassion, and justice. And now we have our opening hymn. It's number 1002 in the teal hymnal that you'll find near you. And we're singing verses 1, 2, 4, and 5. I say that to myself as much as you, because it's so easy to just sort of cruise through a hymn, but we're focusing on the messages of 1, 2, 4, and 5 today. Can we rise in body or spirit and sing out together?
Good morning. I'm Roxanne Stern. Our reading today comes to us from Wendell Berry, an American writer and farmer who lives in Kentucky. The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the slightest sound in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Now we're going to consider the joys and sorrows that we carry in our hearts in this beloved community. A candle of peace for my friend Elizabeth, who passed away on Friday after 2.5 months of suffering. A candle of hope for Reverend Liz's dad, who has been in the hospital, and for Reverend Liz, that she may find strength. I misspoke this candle last week. A candle of hope and sorrow and solidarity for Lucille Riccatelli, not Riccatelli. You know her daughter-in-law, Thelma, is in home hospice care. This is a very trying time, and I am certain that your support and prayers and cards would be most appreciated. In loving memory of Lynn Fazzi, who peacefully left this world on December 10th at 92 years of age. Lynn was a longtime member of this congregation. She will be remembered by her friends. I would add that you may know Lynn was the rideshare queen of First U way back in the day, up until 2 months ago. So how nice that we were able to ride with her and in our hearts continue to ride with her. She will be missed. From Barbara Westlake, a candle of healing for my husband Bob as he battles pneumonia. Godspeed, Bob. From Claire and Hannah Rosenbaum, candle of healing for my sister Patty, who fell and broke 2 wrists. Yeah. The candle is for her speedy recovery. A candle of love and care for all who are missing Alice Boss today. A candle of love and remembrance for my mother, Nora Skinner, who would have been 100 years old today. I miss you, but we'll talk tonight. Love. A candle of joy and appreciation to my beloved husband, Paul, who didn't wake me up on time for church last week. So we're here a week late wishing him a happy birthday. Much love. Now we can gather our hearts and minds for prayer and meditation and let ourselves deepen into this time of reflection. Please take a deep breath with me. And one more. And one more. This poem is from the Anglo-Irish poet David White, called Seeming Stillness. We love the moment in a seeming stillness, the breath in the body of the loved one sleeping, the highest leaves in the silent wood, a great migration in the sky above, the waters of the earth, the blood in the body, the first soft stir in the silence beneath a strident voice, the internal hands of our mind, always searching for touch, thoughts seeking other thoughts, seeking other minds, the great arrival of form through all our hidden themes. Our life is like a breath, then, a give and a take, a bridge, a central movement between singing a separate self and learning to be selfless, between breathing in the stillness and learning to be peace. Spirit of life and love, show us the way to live in peace, to live being peace, that our very presence may transform hearts. Amen. Now we're going to share some silent reflection. If you have lost someone this year, you're welcome to raise your hand or stand in tribute to those loved ones.
Our ministry theme this month is peace, which makes sense as we move toward the December holidays. Winter solstice, the peace in the dark of the longest night, and after of the growing light. Christmas, the birth of the Prince of Peace, heralded with divine promises of peace and goodwill to all humanity. Hanukkah, which means dedication, commemorating the end of a war and the reestablishment of faith and identity. Last week we talked about different kinds of peace, how peace is ultimately incomplete without justice, because injustices weigh too hard on us for our peace to be completely peaceful, even when our own peaceful experience is very beautiful or very strong. And last month, we talked about joy and how important joy is, especially when times are hard, and how everyone has the right to experience joy, that joy is part of what makes life worth living, part of what life requires, even when we are working to make it possible to ensure that all people have the same potential for joy, that all people have the opportunities for the safety and fulfillment which allow joy to flourish. I think peace is also like that. Peace is like joy in that way. And we may not have the big peace that we seek, the big peace that solstice honors, the big peace that Christmas promises and Hanukkah reflects. But just like joy in this imperfect world and very imperfect time, the smaller peace, the personal piece of peace, still matters and still offers us a critical taste of that larger peace we believe in. So, back again to last week, I shared the 19th century poem, The Lake Isle of Innisfree, by the Irish poet William Butler Yeats. And I spoke of how it is an enduring vision for me, not just a vision, almost a conjuring, almost an enchantment every time I read it, with its lovely, lulling rhythms about the exquisite and simple natural beauty of the place and the life there, the small abundance of 9 bean rows, the slow dropping peace, the solitude that is not loneliness, and the quiet force of life that resonates even amidst the blare of the city. That is what my peace looks like. And the details may change, but the essentials always remain the same. The peace that I find is always like that. But I know that's not the shape of everyone's peace. And I think it's good for us to really pay attention to what gives each of us our own personal piece of peace. And how we honor those foretastes of what humankind has so long yearned for, what I think humankind has forever yearned for, since before recorded history. And also what humankind has sometimes for wonderful moments, wonder-filled moments, known. So I want to ask you, each of us, all of us, as we move further into this month and closer to these holidays about peace and fulfillment, what does your peace, what is your peace, the peace you need, the peace you love, look like? Because peace cannot be just a hypothetical, or a principle, or a theory. Peace needs to be tangible, and not just for other people, or people in other places, though of course also for other people and people in other places, but also for ourselves. What peace do we cherish? What peace do we need? What peace do we seek for ourselves as well as what we seek for the world? It all matters. We need to honor and make room for it all. So I'm asking you this as a real question. I want to invite everyone to close your eyes and take a moment to think about this. Maybe you've already been thinking about it. Maybe you know exactly what your answer is. And if that's the case, then while your eyes are closed, please call it into further life for yourself. Imagine all the details, or remember all the details, everything you see, and what you hear, and what you smell, and what you feel, and what you taste. And when you've gotten it all the specifics of your peace, let your eyes open. But there's no rush. I love how long some of us are staying in this. It's a lot to ask, I know. Sitting in a room filled with people with your eyes closed. And as you're able, come back to this space. And I'm just going to push the envelope a little further. I want to invite you now to find someone who is sitting near you who is not someone you came here with. The anxious mutter begins. I want you to find, please, if you will, someone who is sitting near you who is not someone you came here with. And I would like you to share your personal piece of peace with them. People who are receiving the other person's piece of peace, feel free to ask questions, not to challenge, but to understand as deeply as you can what you are being offered. And we'll take a couple minutes, and then I'm going to let you know, and we'll flip to the other person's turn to share their personal piece of peace. And again, questions to gain deeper understanding are a good idea. And then we'll finish, and we'll come back together as a whole. But please go ahead now and find your fellow congregant to share with and get started sharing and honoring your pieces of peace. Some of you are sitting close to lots of people. Some of you are sitting further away from someone. But I'm inviting everyone to move around as you need to do this. And when you're able, you can reverse the direction of the conversation and let the person who's been receiving offer their piece of peace. And the person who's been sharing can listen. And there's no rush, but as you're able to come back from your conversations, it's beautiful to see you having these conversations. A lot of you are using gestures, and I'm thinking, oh, what is that? What is that about? And what is this about? And it's wonderful to see that happening and wonder what all the pieces of peace are about. And when I started talking about this, I don't know if you noticed, but there's an adorable baby with us who was sort of gurgling and sounded peaceful and happy. And I thought, there's a kind of peace, you know, that infant person may not even remember feeling, right, later in life. But it's right there. The dome throws sound around here so much that I never know where somebody is. Is it the one who's in the way back that was doing the gurgling? So there's that baby. Hi. Hi, sweetie. So now we've shared our pieces of peace, have passed the peace, if you will, among us. We've brought our pieces into this hallowed space and into our awareness and into a shared congregational, communal awareness of something that salves us and saves us and keeps us in our living and connects us to the grace of the world, as Wendell Berry put it. We rest in the grace of the world and are free. So I ask you, as with your joy, please also treasure your peace. Please also cultivate your peace for your own abundance, like those 9 bean rows at the Lake Isle of Innisfree. Go to your peace, or bring it to you. Dwell in it, or with it, and share it if that helps, or keep it for yourself if that is how your peace works. Whatever your peace requires of you, give it so that you may receive it. Some peace comes publicly and generally at the end of a long struggle, or with trumpets and declarations. But how much peace comes otherwise to every one of us, comes without declarations, without any words at all sometimes, comes when we are alone or with very few beloveds, comes when we are far from all that blares and distracts and pushes and rushes and all of that. Every piece of our peace is soulful and sacred. Good people in this season that celebrates and remembers and yearns for peace, make sure to let the world rest you in its grace. Make sure to let the world rest you in its grace and bless you. Amen. Our second hymn is number 391 in the gray hymnal, Voice Still and Small. Can we rise in body or spirit? This is our time for the offering. This is our time to practice generosity, sometimes spontaneous generosity. I don't know how many of us think in advance, I'm going to give $1.50 this week. I thought about it and I've decided that's it. But I always like to invite us to think about doing more, giving something different. I used to give $1 and then $2 if I was going to valet parking. And then I realized I gotta up it, and then I went to 5. Now, depending on the circumstances, it's 5 to 10. I would like to think that what you tip the church on a Sunday morning is at least equivalent to what you might give a valet who has spent 2 minutes driving your car to a space and then back. Thank you so much for all that you give and all that you do and all that you are.
To the first of my lovers on a high and holy hill, and the last of my lovers, I light a candle still, and the bells will be ringing on a high and holy hill. To the first of my lovers and the last.
On the hill that was holy for the pagan long ago, in the house of Our Lady, now I praise the name I know, and the bells will be ringing on a high and holy hill for the first of my lovers and the last.
Oh, my loves have been many, but the loving was for one. For the same light can shine in a candle or the sun, and the bells will be ringing on a high and holy hill for the first of my lovers and the last. To the end and beginning of the loving that I know, to the end and the beginning, my candlelight will go, and the bells will be ringing on a high and holy hill for the first of my lovers and the last. To the first of my lovers on a high and holy hill, and the last of my lovers, I light a candle still, and the bells will be ringing on a high and holy hill for the first of my lovers and the last. To the first of my lovers on a high and holy hill, and the last of my lovers, I light a candle still, and the bells will be ringing on a high and lowly hill to the first first of my lovers and the last. And the bells will be ringing on a high and lonely hill for the first of my lovers and the last.
Among the many ways to practice our faith, apart from Sunday mornings, I have one invitation for you this morning, and it's so important. As many of us know, about 18 months ago, over 150 First U members gathered to create a strategic plan to strengthen our path going forward. This was open to all members and friends of the congregation. Over 150 people showed up on a single day to do this, which is huge. And they established 4 priorities in the course of the conversations that happened today, and one of them was rise up and ensure our future. A critical step was identified to execute a capital campaign that addresses long-term capital upgrades and supports our aspirations in programming and ministry. Since then, leadership has been investigating the benefits of a strategic campaign which combines the annual commitment drive that we do every spring with a capital campaign that focuses on our strategic goals. So there will be one campaign to serve both this year. A committee composed of Prudential Committee members, which is our church board, staff, and volunteers has engaged an experienced consultant with a strong record of success, including in a number of Unitarian Universalist congregations across the country, and have begun the preliminary work. And now we are excited to share our findings with the congregation in small group focus sessions, which are planned for January and February. So any of you who were part of that very large group that was working on the finance thing have been like, what is the church doing about that since then? Now you know. There's been a lot of behind-the-scenes effort, and it is coming back into fruition and back to the congregation that charged us with this 18 months ago. In the weeks ahead, you will be invited to attend one of our, what we're calling, focus group sessions. The purpose of these meetings is to give every single one of us in our congregation an opportunity to review the needs and opportunities that such a campaign represents. This is an excellent occasion for each member of First U to provide thoughts concerning the best approach to improving the impact on our future and present ministries, nurturing spirit and joy, extending radical welcome, ensuring continued social justice strength, and becoming a church for the city. These gatherings, please note, are not going to be for the solicitation of financial support. You will not be asked to give any money at these meetings. They are to exchange ideas and engage everyone in the process. In the weeks ahead, we will be sending you a schedule of focus group sessions for you to attend. These sessions will be held after every Sunday service starting January 19th, weather permitting. Beginning that week, sessions will also be offered weekdays at the church as well as in the evenings, and some will be hosted in members' homes, so everybody should be able to attend something. Brief presentations will be followed by the opportunity for you to ask questions and provide feedback and answer a brief but important questionnaire before the meeting is concluded. And each focus group session will be less than 1 hour in length. I have no idea how they're going to pull that off. I'm being honest. But it's a huge commitment, less than an hour. So this is really going to be easy for everybody. Hopefully, many of you have received a letter iterating this in the mail. Can you raise your hand if you know you got a letter from us? Okay, so lots of people got a letter from us about this. Some of us may have not checked their mailbox in the last few days. If that's you, can you raise your hand? Am I alone in that? Oh, good. not wholly alone. And some of you may have checked your mailbox but haven't actually gone through your mail. But everyone should have gotten a letter about this. If you didn't get a letter, be in touch with our church office and we will make sure that you get one right away, because we did a huge mass mailing last week in the middle of the week. First U is so important to all of us. It is our common bond of energy and hope and dreams. Your suggestions are needed to be certain that we are fulfilling our vital responsibilities to our entire congregation. And thank you in advance for your participation and commitment in this essential effort. Our benediction this morning is responsive, but it is with each other and not to me. So I would ask, can we turn to each other, having shared as we have, and say to our neighbors, peace be with you, and respond, and also with you. And can we join in the words for extinguishing our chalice? We carry the flame of peace and love and hope until we meet again.
For our closing song, we're going to sing Dona Nobis Pacem, which means give us peace. And if you are feeling adventurous, please go ahead and sing it in a round. Dona nobis pacem pacem. Dona nobis 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 pacem. One more time. Dona nobis pacem.